for.
Marginal.
Welcome everyone. Bom dia a todos. Welcome to the webinar about entrepreneurship, webinar sobre empreendedorismo. Agradecemos desde já a presença de todos. We are thankful for having you here today. We have as moderators, como moderador temos Alberto Carvalho Neto, presidente da JEUNE, president of JEUNE, our moderator. We have the executive director of the Nova Idea Foundation, Paulina Yancheva. Temos também vice-presidente da JEUNE, CEO Pajav Kausiu, Daniel Irutu. E vamos começar por passar a palavra ao moderador, Sr. Alberto Carvalho Neto.
Vamos passar para Zé. Zé, começa tu primeiro.
I think there was here a mistake, but there are other three more moderators. You have the opportunity to know them later on, and not moderator, speakers.
Peço desculpa, então, I apologize for the mistake.
I'm
Sorry.
acting as a moderator jointly with Alberto Carvalho Neto. Actually, I'm José Campos e Matos. I'm the president of Yes for Europe, and I want to welcome you here today for the Green Entrepreneurship Seminar. This seminar will face the challenges and opportunities on the transition to a green economy in the entrepreneurship sector, and it's co-organized by JEUNE and by Yes for Europe. Both JEUNE and Yes for Europe represent the young entrepreneurships in Brussels, and we are dealing with many topics important for young entrepreneurs in Brussels, such as this one of the green entrepreneurship and the Green Deal. So I will start with the first speaker. I will ask Paulina Yancheva, the executive director of Nova Idea Foundation, to present their ideas about the topic of the green entrepreneurship.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak here today. My expertise is in the sphere of entrepreneurship. For more than 15 years, I've been helping young entrepreneurs succeed on their way to successful business, and we have guided them step by step until they become serious companies, competitive one on the market. What we are seeing for the last few years in the world, not only here in Bulgaria and the region, is that most of the companies are focused on either green entrepreneurship or they are developing concepts that are with a caring for the environment and the world around them. Maybe I should start with the question, what is the difference between an entrepreneur and a green entrepreneur? Because they are both doing business, but there are slightly some slight differences between them. I will use one metaphor when explaining the difference between an entrepreneur and a green entrepreneur. Basically, an entrepreneur is a person who is rolling a snowball up the hill, and a green entrepreneur is a person who is rolling a snowball up the hill, bearing in mind the burden of the global warming. The green entrepreneur is trying to reduce the environmental impact of his activities or benefit the environment. They try to use as fewer resources as possible. The green entrepreneurs are socially responsible individuals who care about the world they live in. To this regard, I'd like to reflect a little bit on a few different aspects of the sustainable development. I shortly described the concepts of social entrepreneurs, corporate social responsibility and green entrepreneurship, so that we could see some things that they have share in common and others that are differences between them. So the social entrepreneur is a person who works on an idea that aims to apply solution to social, cultural, or environmental challenges. He is a for-profit entrepreneur that measures the success of his venture not only by the positive financial result of his company, but also by generating a positive return to the society. For example, a company that provides employment for blind people and finds markets for their production. The concept of corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility is a concept implemented in a company that aims to consciously increase the positive impact of its activities on all aspects of the society, including environmental, social, and economical, of course. For example, the company Mars, it is a global company who is producing food products and uses millions of plastic packages every day. It has launched a sustainability plan that aims to replace plastic packaging with eco-friendly materials. On the other hand, most of its products could be considered as junk food. So one question stays open: whether it makes a measurable and significant impact through implementing policies for using eco-friendly materials and at the same time selling junk food to the people. So about the green entrepreneur. Who is actually the green entrepreneur? This is the successful green entrepreneur develops and uses key competencies through the entire business process. The green entrepreneur succeeds in creating a business model that is not only economically profitable, but also creates environmental and social value. So please ask me questions so that the discussion can be more interesting.
Thank you, Paulina. I will now go to the second speaker. And at the end, we'll make this round table with all. And for sure, there'll be many questions to you.
Thank you.
So I'm going now to invite our next speaker. Our next speaker is Eleonora Anselmi. Eleonora is the Chief Operating Officer from Chimera Gold. And Eleonora, now the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the organization of this event for this morning. So thanks to Yes and to JEUNE. I'm also here as Vice President of Confindustria Giovani, which is the Association of Young Entrepreneurs in Italy. I'm Vice President with the delegation upon sustainability and education. We cannot talk. We cannot avoid to talk about the pandemic crisis that we faced. It has made clear that the global interconnection between economic, social, and natural aspects. We need to have this interconnection. We are forced to. That highlights the need to provide a collective response to the crisis throughout coordinated action among all the nations of the planet. Therefore, just as individual states are dealing with the repercussion of the pandemic, primary global commitment is needed to address the challenges that we are facing right now and to prevent the future crisis. For the European Union, but I'm sure is a point of agreement of many. Sustainable development means responding to the needs of current generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That's why we should provide a sort of a global approach that takes into account economic, social, and environmental aspects in a way that they are mutually reinforcing each other. I love this sentence. I love the definition that the European Union give about sustainability, because put a remark on the way we are acting right now, because we be aware of what we are doing, not just for us, but especially for the future generation, for our children. So it's in this spirit that to establish some common priorities that the 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development puts is 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And that was adopted back in 2015. So it's kind of a long period that we are working on it. Comparing the results upon the 17 goals, the report just recently released highlights some specific targets, which are a balance of 3 dimensions, let's say, of sustainable development that are, as I mentioned before, social, economic, and environmental pillar, which of course we have to add the institutional dimension. Those are universal, are interconnected, and are indivisible objectives. And of course, the analysis must necessarily take into account local realities. The greatest progress in the achievement of those goals has been made toward promoting peace and personal security, access to justice, as well as trust in institutions. But this, with a more accurate analysis of the dynamic of each goal compared to the previous year, the percentage of indicator with positive variation is significantly high for goal number 2, zero hunger. But on the other side, goal 12, which is responsible consumption and production, and goal 15, which is life on earth, we do find the higher level of deterioration of the indicators. So for responsible consumption and production, we have less 54%. That's why we cannot make an analysis without calling into question companies that should be considered as the main vehicle of widespread of renewal. And it's just by focusing on the strategic role of the industry that we can really create conditions for significant and positive effects, both on the environmental side and also in the employment and competitiveness level of all sectors of economy. The condition of the European and also Italian manufacturing production puts in a privileged condition us as entrepreneurs to opportunity to get all the opportunities for the economical transition, starting from the circular economy, which is a strategic asset in many points of view. We can say it's strategic from a macro level, which in the logic of the circular economy contributes to guarantee a safe and sustainable supply of raw materials, and thanks to the increase of recycled materials also reintroduced in those materials into the production system. And here we can open a wide discussion on the matter of raw materials and the price of raw materials, but I guess not at this time. But also we have an effect in the micro level in which an increase of the efficiency of individuals is profitable to empower production process over the company. So for business community, the landscape, the geopolitical landscape has never been more complex than in those years we are facing. But that's also why we need coordination, inclusion, and also sharing of the decision-making process, because as we are used to say, we want to be the change we want to see in the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leonora. Very interesting points that you raise. Now, my next speaker, the only man as a speaker, which is good. Typically, it's the other way around, but it's Daniel Ourito. Daniel is the Vice President of JEUNE and CEO of Pavai Kautiuku. Daniel, now the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yes, I'm Vice President of JEUNE, and I'm also President of Young Entrepreneurs Association from Romania. Also, I'm CEO of company for 10 years. I want to share my experience with you, and we know that now we analyzed, if you know, national resilience and recovery plan from each country that already submit their plans, and we saw that there are focus. They have the focus on green and digital. Every country have focus on digital. About 20% of their reforms and their budget is allocated for measures for digital, and are about 30 and 40% for green. So the focus in the next period should and will be on a green deal and a green entrepreneurship, of course. Even in my company, we use only recycled raw materials, because you know that this is the future, and the resources are limited, and we want to make a sustainable company. Of course, we should discuss more about the pandemic because the pandemic period, because during this period we saw better how the things changed, and we also saw that we should adapt our activity to be more green and more digital, because this is the future, how I think. I'll be short, and I think I will have some questions from you, and which I will answer. So thanks.
Okay, Daniel, thank you for your introduction to the topic. And our last but not least speaker is Dr. Elizabeth Teixeira. Elizabeth is a researcher at University of Minho, an expert on the sustainability and circular economy. Elizabeth, the floor is yours now.
Thanks for the invitation to talk a little bit here in this specific webinar with hotspot and hot topics of the day: green economy, green entrepreneurship. It's hot now and is very important. I'm researching for 11 years now, and since 2010 I start working in green economy. It's not the same definition, it's not the same concept that now. I like the new concept of a green economy, and I think this is a very good sentence. The Green Economy Coalition defines green economy as better quality of life for all within ecological limits of the planet, with a resilient economy. And the resilient economy is very important. We need to have the capacity building, we need to have the financial topics, we need to take into account the governance, but we need to take into account the social and environmental too. Of course, in my perspective, I'm coming for research for universities, and I think we can have a good contribution and help the green entrepreneurship years, because our main focus is teaching, is the giving to students this development concept, the sustainability concept, the green economy concept, and at the future they will create their own business, they will be employers, they will be customers. And if they have these concepts in mind, and if we train them, of course, it will be better and we can improve this economy development. It's important to say that green economy is not the same than sustainable development, but green economy is a way of again the sustainable development. And we can see by the European Union that they are very focused on the Green Deal plan, and very focused on digitalization, but always with the green in the idea. Green is not the color, of course. Green is sustainability. But the green color show us that we need to take into account the nature too. And we see in the Green Deal in Horizon 2020 that they were invest 1 billion euros for these topics. And now they have in Horizon Europe a lot of opportunities of the contribution. I think universities also can bring here to this talk, to this discussion. It's the collaboration with SMEs, with large companies. We can help in this green growth. We can help economies. We can help small and medium enterprise companies to achieve this green economy. And I think we can discuss after. Thank you for the invitation again.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now I'm asking my co-moderator, Alberto Neto, President of JEUNE, to continue with the discussion. Please go ahead, Alberto.
Thanks, José Campos Matos. It was amazing to listen to all of you. I'm going to make a few questions, okay? Then also we have some questions that will come from the public. Pauline, I'm going to start with you. You're already a member of JEUNE for, I think, that more than 10 years. And since you already a little bit the introduction and the difference between entrepreneur and also green entrepreneur, I would like also to ask you if you can share some interesting examples of green entrepreneurship based on your experience.
Of course, thanks, Alberto. I would like to say that being a member of JEUNE for really more than 10 years, I have met so many people, responsible entrepreneurs, people who are managing non-governmental organizations that are really caring about the world they live in, and they want to make it a better one. They implement so many different approaches in addressing the challenges that we are facing. And I can say that I have met these green entrepreneurs long before we started speaking about this circular economy, about sustainable development concept, green entrepreneurship, because now it is very cool to be a green entrepreneur, and more and more people are understanding that being a green entrepreneur is could give you much more to your company and to you as a person. So I'm very happy that I had opportunities to meet a lot of green entrepreneurs. So fortunately, there are numerous examples of green entrepreneurship nowadays, and I hope that they are getting more and more, and I see that it is a tendency now. The good news about the green entrepreneurship is it is a new way of doing business, and it is the best advertisement for any new venture. Examples can be really a lot, starting from solar technologies to sustainable buildings, electric vehicles, to reusable diapers. Technologies for harvesting energy from ocean waves, and this list can go on and on. Still, unfortunately, there are still not enough impactful to reverse some negative tendencies and to achieve this global outreach, so that we could really feel the difference living in a world where green entrepreneurship blossoms and is really impactful for our lives. In every country, in every region, there are green entrepreneurs who are receiving more support from the society, and that's why it is so important to speak about green entrepreneurship and the circular concept as a whole, because this way we are supporting the young entrepreneurs. Young, I mean in terms of spirit, not age. It is so important to support them in their new ventures and to promote this green entrepreneurship concept, so that we can live in a better world. And I just want to say, to add something in addition to what Eleonora said, and there is one nice saying that the best way to plant, the best time to plant a tree is 100 years ago, but the second best time is now. So now is the time when we could all collaborate and go to the next level of doing business globally and locally, of course. Thank you.
Alberto, you are muted.
Sorry. Eleonora, how do you see the evolution of the green entrepreneurship?
That's a tough question. Thank you. Let's start from a common ground. Green entrepreneurship is expensive. It's expensive to be a green entrepreneur. It's expensive to deal with a green business, and it's expensive to sell green product. So what we do have to do, and is our commitment as an entrepreneur, but also with as young connected to association of business, is to share the value of green entrepreneurship, and we can do that by encouraging person to learn more on how we can be a green entrepreneur. Because let's say it's expensive if we see it in the short period of time, but is an investment for our company if we see it in medium and long time. So we have to spread the news. We have to let everybody understand that doing investment in green economy right now is profitable for the future of our companies. So continuing on investment in new technologies and in technologies that are more sustainable for our planet is going to be a benefit also for our company in the future times.
Okay, by the way, I would like also to extend the question to what are also the main process, Eleonora, that you develop in the value chain of your company to reduce the waste, to be eco-friendly and also more efficient.
Especially for my company, we produce metal hardware for bags and shoes, so we work for the fashion world. Let's say in fashion, now the green economy or the green environmental of businesses is on fashion. So our customer ask about a sort of renewal of our production process. So we are both embracing this news, and also we are forced by our customer that want a product that can be sold as sustainable. So what we do in our company is renew the plant, renew the facility where we are living by having a different approach in lights, by making investment on reducing the consume of energy, by reducing the use of regular lights, inserting in the facility where we are working new kind of light system. And we also do have a process that work with water. So we made an investment in Industry 4.0, so a new kind of robotic production process in order to have a production process that is more sustainable under the terms of use of water. So we try to preserve as much as possible what's the environment around us.
Thank you, Eleonora. For sure that the water is one of the challenge that we should start tackling. Also the energy, also the saving energy also, and of course everything that is related done with the environment. Daniel, based on your experience on JEUNE, what are the challenge of entrepreneurs during the COVID-19 pandemic, and also what are the challenge now, the current situation?
First of all, I think that during the pandemic, most businesses were closed, and that most important challenges that they faced were first of all business surviving, because it was very hard to have your business closed and at the same time to pay your employees, to pay the rents, to pay the taxes. You know that our government takes some measures to help entrepreneurs and SMEs to pass through this period, and we made a study, and we have 2,500 of respondents, which said that the measures that the government took was useful, but they wasn't enough for them. So the challenges was to survive the business and keeping employees, because it was very hard to pay them and stay at home, you know. But now they adapted their activity. Some of them which was worked on services, they could work from home and remote their activity. And also the production already returned to work. Now we saw that there are challenges is to make the connections with clients and suppliers and to return to their usual activity. Also, I want to add that JEUNE this year is pushing and making many seminars about circular economy. And I also want to propose to Alberto and Jose maybe to make a webinar and a workshop to compare our national resilience and recovery plan from each country from European Union, and to see what measures and reforms we have in each country to make it better in our country also.
Okay, from our side, the challenge is accepted. Later on, I will give also the word to Jose to accept the same. But I will focus on you also. And Daniel, before I jump to another question, I would like to another speaker. On the view that you have nationally, also in Europe, how do you think that, how long will you think that the small and medium companies will take to return to the pre-pandemic numbers, so to the results that we should have issued?
Also, according to the study that we made, the entrepreneurs are very optimistic, and they think that it will take about 6 and 12 months to return to their activity before the pandemic period. It's a very optimistic
very optimistic
one. Yeah.
We like that all that will not stay there locally, but also on a European level. Thanks, Daniel. Elizabeth, in your opinion, our academic and more specifically science and research can contribute to develop and foster innovative and environmental conscious companies. How do you think that we can manage that?
I think nowadays it's easier than in the past. In the past, talking about sustainability, economy, a circular economy, it was very difficult. We spent a very difficult period to teach this and to put this in the brain of our students. Nowadays, as in fashion, as Eleonora says, is very important. And we know that social media is also talking about that. And the students are more able to receive this information. We are making in universities and as academical staff, we are trying to teach this and this green entrepreneurship to our students inside of our classes, and also giving some training extracurricular. And we are teaching them to these points, how to do it, to be more easier and less costly. As Eleonora was saying, now to implement this is very costly at short period, but at long period, it will be benefit for companies. And I think this is our contribution, the main contribution that university gives. Of course, we have the other point, the other hand, the other part, that is the collaboration, directly the collaboration with SMEs, with the young entrepreneurship. Because entrepreneurship, they want to learn, and we can help them during when the business is running. We can help and try to give this knowledge also to them. This collaboration is very important between university and companies and SMEs.
Thank you. More question to you. What are the actions that regional companies or the University of Minho conducted in the last year to decrease the gap between universities' technology, production, and companies and market needs?
I just can talk about my university, what I know better than
yes, I understood that.
than the large
university.
But of course, what we are doing, we are trying to show to everyone what we can do, try to have this, I think nowadays is more important, these meetings B2B, to explain what we can contribute, to be involved in the large consortiums, to help and to show. And for example, I'm working at this moment, I'm giving a real example with a company, one of the biggest companies in the construction field. I work in construction, I'm environmental engineer, but working in the civil engineer field. And what we did is we tried to reuse and valorize all the waste that they have. If they have the database of what waste they have, the amount of waste that they produce, the cost that they have putting them in landfill, because the majority of the waste that they have, they are recyclable, but there is a huge part that is not recyclable and has a lot of impact on their production. And we are working with them to find solutions for them, reuse this waste as raw materials in the process that they have. And this is a contribution that we have, beside teaching, of course. I think I answered your question.
Yes. I believe that on the world of the entrepreneurs and the companies, everyone are very sensitive to this case. Everyone is trying to adopt and adapt also the vector, and also to think on sustainability. Like Paulina said also, and even you, Elizabeth, on the very beginning, thinking about sustainability was like something rare, something like, okay, you are completely crazy, you are speaking green, so probably you have political problems, or you are another kind of view. What I see now is that the companies are adapting and adopting also, like I was telling before, new measures, are focused really to try to find the solutions to be more green, also to reduce the carbon weight in the world on all these actions, reduce also the waste, and try to go on water efficiency. But unfortunately, what I also see, and I work on the water, energy, and environment sectors, is that most of our countries are ruled just for small shorts of periods of mentality. So the laws, mostly the local ones, are focused just on votes. So they are just caring about that year of the votes, and we don't have a strategy for 20, 30, 50 years. And that is a big difference between us in Europe and also between China. What we can see with China, and I'm very close also with China, and all my process also inside JEUNE was also related with working with other regions. And I'm also the president of AGPC, that is the Portuguese Association, Young Entrepreneurs Association with China, Young Entrepreneurs. And we have been for more than 10 years organizing seminars, events, and so on. And some of them very dedicated, like Daniel said, to the sustainability and also green economy. One of them is in Macau, in myself. These kind of events, and what we see in China is thinking about 50 years. So they know exactly that they already make the mistakes on the past, okay, but they are very, very fast on the resolutions. In Europe, sometimes we are just waiting for, and on European level, we are thinking global, okay, but we need to also act global. If not, we are getting the difference between a very big handicap between our countries, and is not fair. It's not fair for Europeans, it's not fair for our human beings that living here. It's not fair that we have countries where we are already making and treating the water from the village, and there are also another countries where we have capitals or big towns, we are not taking care of the water, of the waste. So we need to balance that in Europe, and also we need to balance on situations where we can try to achieve the goals that everyone aims to be on a green Europe. And also we need to go and look for effective calls and support effective measures for the young entrepreneurs that call it the green entrepreneurs. So I will give like 30 seconds for each one of the speakers to give me a bullet action, how we can support, okay, the green entrepreneurs. starting now, let's change a little bit. This, Eleonora, you first, please. 30 seconds. If you are the one in charge, how are you going to do it?
I knew it. I was going to be the first one. If I'm in charge, I would like to have a specific point to give to the government in terms of support to the enterprise in order to have facilities and in order to have support to improve the situation of the business.
Okay, thank you. Daniel, if it was you,
yes. I think that first of all, we should raise the awareness among young entrepreneurs that only green businesses will survive in the future, because it's true that to make a green business is more expensive, but we see that people nowadays are willing to pay a little more for green products, green and bio products. So I think this is the future, and if you want to have a business and to think for a long term, you should do a green business. And to raise the awareness, we can do it through our structures in every country. You know that JEUNE and YES have Young Entrepreneurs Association in each country. So we can make seminars and more meetings to raise the awareness among them.
Thank you, Daniel. Paulina, you are good.
Yes, so as Daniel said, in order for a business to survive in the future, it needs to survive now. If it doesn't survive now, it won't survive in the future. So we need to support these businesses as consumers, not only as organizations, but as people. We need to promote this kind of a lifestyle, to buy products of green companies, to prefer them rather than those of the other companies, as I gave the example with Mars. Okay, they are doing efforts in promoting the concept of green, but they are producing junk food. McDonald's also, they are doing their policies for sustainable development and so on, but they are selling junk food. So if we can choose between products of different companies, we need to do so. We need to educate our kids in being responsible to the society, to the planet that we live in, and thus we will make a really a difference, acting locally with a global outreach.
Thank you. Elizabeth?
I think from our side, we need to teach our students that are adults to be green employers, green consumers, and green owner of business is what we need to focus more in sustainability in our courses. I think is one of the important that we need to do.
Thank you, Elizabeth. On JEUNE, we started this year a very challenging work that is the Week of Entrepreneurs. So we launch with some schools and also projects in some place in the countryside, where we take the group of CEOs from multinational companies and we go for 1 week to these schools to teach what is entrepreneurs and also what is sustainability. But now I go also for one of the questions in the public that says, and this question is for Elizabeth and José Campos Matos, that is the two professors that we have here. If you believe that right now the universities, if the students are getting the right education on this matter. But I would like to go to the universities, but also on the base, because what I feel is that on the base, we have the awareness, but still lots of things to do. Please, I will give the word firstly to José. Okay, Elizabeth, and I jump to you. José.
Okay, so about the green in the universities, not only in the university, I would say that it should start from the schools and even from the very young child. I think the mentality is changing a lot. And you give the example from China. China was one of the worst countries in the world in terms of green now they are investing a lot to change that. They are doing a huge effort. Also, I know and I'm aware of the Chinese universities. They are teaching courses and introducing topics related with the green deal, according to the Paris Agreement, in their formation of their students. US changed a bit with the Trump government now, because it's what we spoke about, that if you want to invest in the green, you can have the risk of reducing your production. You need to invest more, but it's the future, and we need to at the end to think on the next generations. Here in Portugal and in Europe, let's say, after the Paris Agreement and the Lisbon Agreement, there was a huge effort, not only on the research level, not only for the companies, also for the universities and for schools. And the truth is that in many courses, in many disciplines, in different courses, engineering, management, and so on, the green is something that is introduced and speaks about. So keywords like life cycle analysis, like circular economy, sustainability, carbon emission, carbon retention, and so on, are things that are being introduced to the students. And even the topics related with the standardizations and policy making, taxes, and so on, because it's the way you can control and make sustainable entrepreneurs more competitive comparing with the others. Even these topics are introduced in the universities. So if you go to economy courses or even to lawyer courses, you can see these topics being introduced. And so I think the end of the Horizon 2020 program was a change with the Green Deal. The Horizon Europe, definitely, one of the twin transitions is the green transition. And there is a huge amount of investment for this transition. So I would say that we are in the right way. And I hope that the next generation of entrepreneurs could be much more green.
Thank you, Jose. Elizabeth, please.
I agree with Jose. This is a process, okay? A process that needs to start with at our houses, with also us as a parents to teach our kids. And that is a process that needs continuous in all levels of education. Of course, university is a way and a door that helps this education. And we are seeing, me and Jose and all the researchers and professors, that are more including these courses, these disciplines in all types of degrees, about courses about sustainability, courses about green economy, is not new, but now has more relevance. And I think we need to give more and more time to discuss these topics, to teach these topics, but needs to be a process. Of course, as Paulina says, today it's the day of planting the tree, but this is future, is not now. It's not everything is solved now. We don't teach all about green now. The degrees are very focused and still very focused on what we teach in the past, but it's changing. Universities are also changing, are also following the green plans, the green deals. Everything is like that. It's like a process.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Daniel. Yesterday, during the tourism webinar that was moderated by Fabio Pacion, we listened one of the speakers saying that the final consumers, the buyers, are not willing to pay extra for the green label. And a few minutes ago, you said that nowadays you believe that the consumer is pro bono. I have also my opinion about that. Can you tell us a little bit more about your opinion on this, or if we focus on trading or if you focus on service? Thank you.
Yeah, I think that it depends on the category of the consumers, because there, for example, of course, in Bulgaria and Romania, there are very poor people that don't have so much money to pay for the green products, the bio products and services. But for a medium salary in Romania, nowadays there are more and more people that are willing to buy a little more. It's not to pay like double or much more, but to pay a little more for, and they prefer bio and green products. Also, I think that it's a good, and we as people should do more and to buy more to encourage the business make more green products. Also, I think that maybe our governments should do some and give some subsidies to the companies that make green products. Maybe it will be a good measure to encourage them to do this.
Thank you, Daniel. But then we also jump for the organic food, agriculture. And nowadays, for example, we see in Portugal that nowadays a strong beliefs and against the agriculture because of the water. So the people, the consumers, they are not clarified. They don't have the information, and normally they just pick the first information that they see on a fake news normally. So they forget that nowadays the agriculture, we have to survive, of course, and be balanced between the organic and also the intensive, because if not, we're going to starving in some cases. But also we need to check that before we put the finger on agriculture, we also need to think that in the most of the cities in Europe, we are not reusing the water that we are treated on the cities. So, and that could be a very big potential, taking care of that water to reuse again and some kind of system. So I believe that we need to be a little bit more balanced, and also mostly to show the consumers and also explain. So it's really important to show and act like that. And like you said before on John, we are doing lots of seminars this year also related with circular economy. And also we are doing some projects. And now I will also to bring Jose a little bit for the discussion, because on John level, we are, since 2018, we are doing the business rail. That is the trip on a train where we are doing meetings on a train, jumping city by city. We have the Business Rail Europe, Business Rail China, and that is also co-organized with other associations. And also the former starting was also AGEPS and the Federation Sinop LPA, that is related with the Portuguese-speaking countries and the Spanish-speaking countries. So it's a union of many associations. Nowadays with YES, we are also counting for YES to support the Business Rail Europe. So we're going to do many events in Europe, and we're going to go on this trip on Europe, and making these also our new events, but also to put the sustainability also in our goals. But also we are doing another events and strategies to try to give this awareness about how we can do more and better. Jose, from your side, do you want to share some ideas how YES is planning also the second semester?
Speaking about Green Deal, because the topic is a Green Deal, and speaking about YES for Europe, because this event is co-organized by YES for Europe and JEUNE, let's say the Green Deal and the green transition is being discussed inside YES for Europe since 2-3 years ago. We took in our conference in Germany some entrepreneurs that were mostly dealing with the green incorporation, the green transition in their own business. These 2 years, we took also some invitation, some guest inviters as speakers, and last year it was definitely in the online Young Entrepreneurs Conference organized by YES for Europe, we included in one of the sessions, we included one session only dealing with the green entrepreneurship, and especially focused on young entrepreneurs. During my presidency, we are targeting to continue with that. I think the proposal from Danielle to do some kind of joint event, like a talk or a discussion round table or whatever, it's always good because we can share experiences. We organize Yes for Europe, a live talk 1 week and a half ago on data science, which is another important topic, and we can make it jointly with you, and we should do that in the Green Deal. So I think this is one thing that is important, but also I think it's important, and we are also working on that. This week, there is a magazine in Portugal that published one interview that I made, and in this interview, I refer exactly that it's important to go through the resilience and recovery plans of each country in Europe. These plans are being submitted, and it's important to check how relevance is being done in order to see if the green is there or not. How relevant are the countries putting in the green transition? And finally, I think also another important point is jointly with Brussels to discuss the topic of the taxes, because if we do not, we can have all the very good purpose at the end, but if we do not change the things in a way to make more competitive the entrepreneurs and the products that have the green mark there, the green change will never happen as we would like to. So the only way at this moment that we can make it competitive is changing the taxation, and this is a decision from you. With the cars is something that is already happening, but we need to extend it to many other products. Once this is made, then I believe in 10-15 years, these products will become already competitive, because the mechanism, the industrial mechanism, production, and so on, it's much smooth, cheaper. Even the equipments are cheaper, and so on, and the taxes can, let's say, go to the normal. But in this transition period, we need to do politically and strategically this change on the taxation. So this is what we want to from Yes for Europe. 3, promotion, discussion, and so on. Hopefully jointly with John. Second, is definitely to check and analyze the resilience and recovery plans of each country. Third, to convince EU that they need to change the taxation procedures accordingly, or to fit the Green Deal. This is what we want to.
José, just to share with you and everyone here that is listening to us, and also inclusive our speakers, on level of John, one of the proposals that we are doing and that we are pushing since January is that, considering the political also strategy, is that the needs of reduction of taxations for the companies that implement the goals. So we should keep the penalties, but of course on the European level, we need to try to find a different way. And also on the way that the businessmen normally think, it will be much more attractive if we find solutions to give these kind of gifts. So if the companies, of course, they can achieve some metas, some goals, then reductions on taxations on the way that to be much more profitable to everyone and to achieve that. Also, since we are here, and of course saying that it's being a pleasure, José, making many things between John and DS. since you also became the president. This approach between JEUNE and YES already started on the past also, with some works together and also MOUs. And I believe that in our point of view, it's always good that our society get more associations, but also organized on the way that we can achieve more and better, like I said before. I also would like to, since this year, before I make also a last statement, I will give the word 1 more minute for each speaker, okay, to speak freely also about what you believe that that was needs to say. So I believe that you already know who I'm going to start first. So Eleonora, please.
It was a great privilege to be here with you this morning and to discuss about circular economy. I think those are little drops that we are putting in the basin, and we are doing our part. We are really standing in front of the problem and trying to share our experience and also the solution that we find inside our companies. Because what we find more in the association of young entrepreneurs is the fact that we can share our own experience and we can have support from other entrepreneurs that are facing the same difficulties that we are facing. So thank you very much for the organization of this event in this morning. I really appreciate all your work, and I truly benefit from the speech of the speaker that you invite this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonora. Paulina, please.
Thank you, Alberto. What I want to add is that there is no other way but going green for the future. So each one of us is making steps ahead. So let's keep this pace and be more active in any sphere of life, not only business, but our social life, our everything that we do every day. And this is the best way that we can achieve really good outcomes for everybody everywhere. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paulina. Elizabeth?
For me, it was a pleasure to be in this webinar today. It's very pleasure to see a lot of young entrepreneurs going in a green circular economy. It's very nice to see. I know the difficulties of create a business with the green in a short time, but I see us researchers and business owners as small drops in a river that in one moment it will be a big river, and in the future will be the ocean, and sustainability is the future, and we need to follow this. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Daniel, please.
Thank you for the invitation for this webinar. I know that we have in plan more webinars on circular economy, and I think that we should to involve more decision makers, the government, the MEPs, because like this we will add focus on European level the importance of sustainability and the environment, green digitalization also, because we work with the entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, and we know their needs, and we can bring it to the decision makers.
Thank you, Daniel. For sure, we have lots of to do, and of course, we need to bring more people to discuss. But mostly, is acting. So we are doers. Everyone here is doer. So let's keep on that. And also, would like to give the congratulations to Ismail and to Rise Up for this amazing Circular Summit. And accepting also the challenge, I would like also that is Jose here and Philippe Sampaio. I would like to already to make the challenge for even this year on the second semester, probably in the end of September, to do something specific, and if it's possible, directly on Ismail. Philippe, what do you think?
Yes, you are very much welcome. And I would like to say, I would like to congratulate both these very important and very big references of the young entrepreneurship in Europe, Yes for Europe and JEUNE, I think this is a very good moment that we are now talking about taking action and involving our students and this young generation of managers. So yes, you are very welcome, very much welcome to ISMAI, and let's start do something, and bit by bit, step by step, go on the right direction towards a greener Europe and a better future. So welcome.
Thanks, Philip. Just to avoid and problem creations.
Alberto, I think.
Just a second. You need to say yes, John. Okay, next time. Okay, not just yes. Okay. If not, everyone think that you ask for pro yes. Okay.
If I didn't emphasize John enough, this is my accent. So yes, John. Yes, John.
Yes, John is okay. Jose, please.
I want to say that from yes, for sure, there is always the opening to discuss these topics and make the river, picking up the words from Elizabeth, making up the not small but medium river even larger. I want also to acknowledge ISMAI for the invitation. I think definitely we should do a very interesting and target second webinar, as Danielle also mentioned, inviting decision makers and from you as well. I only want to finalize that to acknowledge, of course, all the speakers, and especially to Elizabeth, because she's the only green here in this panel. So thank you, and hope to see you soon in another webinar on this topic.
Thanks, Jose. I would like also to give the word to Diogo. Diogo Azevedo,
yes, please. Thank you. I would like just to say that here at ISMAI, we felt that it was our mission, students and future managers, to be more green and more aware of circular model of economy. That's why we challenge John and yes to help us achieving that. And I'd like to say thank you again for your presence in this webinar in the name of Rise Up. We appreciate very much your availability and your presence. It was a wonderful webinar with amazing speakers, so thank you very much. And don't forget, with Rise Up, you rise up in a green, sustainable and a circular way. Thank you.
Thanks, Diogo. Let's do everyone the advice of Pauline, okay? Even that we know that we didn't plant the trees 100 years ago, we still go on time. So let's try to make our goals, okay? And starting that, one more thing that we are doing on Jan is on this week of entrepreneurs, we are planting 100 trees with each school, okay? So if each one of us do a little bit like that, I believe that we can do a better world for our kids. Thanks for everyone, it's a pleasure. Hope to see you all soon, and if it's possible, personal, okay? Let's organize more events and try to make together. And Jose, Philippe, with the support also, of course, with Diogo, let's organize as soon as possible, if it's possible for end of September, a physical one on ISMAI, okay? And then, of course, ISMAI will pay the flights, the accommodation for everyone, so everyone is welcome. Correct, Philippe?
Yeah, of course, you're welcome. You can count on that.
And we will plant a tree. It's promised.
For you to sleep under.
If it's olive trees, I can take it, okay? I have a few ones, Philippe also, but we can support that. Guys, everyone, thanks for all your time, okay? It was very important webinar. I believe that all of us learn a little bit, and also we will try to do the best for the future. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.